The last time that we met up with Adrian and Nacole, we successfully negotiated their offer. Now it's time to open up the escrow, get into their buyer due diligence period, and start making things happen. They're coming to the office here in a few minutes so we can review everything together and make sure they're ready to go. Buying your first home is a momentous occasion many of us have dreamed about for as long as we can remember. Meet first-time homebuyers Adrian, Nacole, and their family of 4 as they move forward buying their first family home.
We want to have space where we can run and stretch our feet and spread our wings and fly.
You'll be with them every step of the way from their home buying game plan meeting. What makes you happy and excited when you visualize your home all the way to their closing day?
He's somewhere up there, proud of me, proud of him.
Watch their story unfold on Real Estate, the Untold Stories. Adrian and Nacole, come on in.
Hi.
It's good to see you.
You too.
Adrian, you doing?
Thank you for coming into the office. I know that you're fresh off work.
You can see.
I've become accustomed to these hugs.
Yes.
I'm a hugger.
I'm a hugger. You are a hugger, but it's awesome. I love it. So, real important question. Now that we're officially kicking off the closing process, what are you thinking and feeling?
Excited.
If you can put it into emotion.
Yeah. What's that emotion? If we're gonna do this, what is that?
I feel that is body language for a favorable outcome.
A favorable outcome.
Hoping for a favorable outcome when you see someone go like this.
Okay, good.
Yes.
What are you thinking?
Excited. Just ready to jump into it and.
Well, what's the next step?
Escrow, right?
What's escrow?
Escrow is the closing process, correct? Like
You've been watching a thing or two.
I mean,
about a thing or two.
I know a thing or two about things.
When you get your offer accepted and you get ready to get into the closing process, it's a time of a lot of excitement, high energy, the adrenaline is going, the oh crap moment hits in, and you're thinking, what's next? What do I got to get done? Let's jump into it. All of a sudden, that dream of buying a home is becoming real. And if it's your first time, it's okay. You're in good hands with your trusted real estate advisor. In the case of Adrian and Nacole, we're working together, we got them, and we're gonna make sure that we keep them in crystal clear focus and maintain their perspective and logic all the way through the closing process. But if you do get those nervous jitters, I want you to know it's okay. It's completely normal when making such a large purchase as your new home. What you guys are up to since the last time we got together? Because last time we got your offer accepted. So what's been going through your mind since that time?
Wow. Just trying to understand the next steps and just kind of packing a little bit here and there, and
But not too much.
yeah.
Just like the things that we don't really use, because again, we don't know, because it's a full process. It's like a full, I feel like it could be from as close, it could be as quick as 2 weeks, but it could be as long as, I guess, a few months from what I hear. So
You're talking about the closing process?
the closing process.
Well, keep in mind when we wrote your offer, we're actually like 32 days for the closing.
That's
So if we go into a few months, we have a big problem, my friend. So let's not do that. Remember, you were telling me this
Yes,
is good fortune, a favorable outcome.
This is exactly, that's looking for a favorable outcome.
If I was bald, maybe I'll rub my bald spot back here for good luck, right?
I'm getting there.
You're getting there. What are you thinking about all of this, Diane?
I mean, I'm trying not to get too overwhelmed. Just
Right.
trying to take it as it comes, and it's a lot. So just want to learn and be prepared, and just have all the tools I need for it.
Yeah, we're going to get you prepared. So that's why we wanted to come together since we got your offer accepted, and then go over the next steps so that you don't feel overwhelmed. There's a lot of things getting ready to take place. I mean, 32 days sounds like a long time, and in some cases it is. But to close a home, once we kick off the process, you're going to be like, oh my God, the 32 days is going to fly by, and
Right.
before you know it, I'm going to give you a call saying, hey, it's time to get your keys. Do you want them or do you want me to hang on to them, right? So, you like that one?
Yeah,
it's my
I'm
best
ready.
joke of the day.
I'm ready. Yeah.
So the first thing that we're going to do is I've already submitted all the documentation to the title company. The title company in this case is Stewart Title. The title officer is Jennifer Clifton, and her assistants are Katie Henry and Cassandra Cardona. The reason that I'm giving this information, and I did CC you guys whenever I sent over your contact information to them, is so when you see an email coming from one of those 3 ladies, you recognize them as your title company. Now, title, escrow, closing process, I know so many different terms. So think of them as part of your closing team, and they handle the escrow function or the closing process function to make sure that the title is being transferred to you correctly and make sure that it's free and clear of any defects. Does that make sense? They're the
Yes.
ones that are going to do the preliminary title report. That's where we're going to do your buyer's signing appointment. Now, to initiate this process, and the reason I want you to recognize their names is because we have to make that earnest money deposit, that deposit of good faith. So what they're going to do is they're going to send you a set of wiring instructions. What I'd like you to do when you get that is to call them directly and ask them to verify the account and routing information. So that could sound something like, hey, Nicole, thanks so much for sending me over the wiring instructions. Would you be so kind to verify the account and routing information, please? And let them say it to you. Because if they say it to you and everything matches, you're good to go. There's no funny business there. Because wire fraud is real, and you work too hard for your money to let it go somewhere that it's not supposed to go.
Right. I've heard about these things.
Then it would be a good idea for us to probably outline what to expect in your buyer due diligence. Per the contract that we submitted and got accepted, you have 12 days for your buyer due diligence. During this time, once we make the earnest money deposit, we need to order your home inspection. We're going to be getting a copy of your HOA resale package, essentially the covenants, codes, and restrictions, and all 10 sets of HOA documents for your review, okay? Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Questions so far?
No?
No.
Sounds good.
Okay. So, what's on your mind?
Let's do our diligence.
Let's do our due diligence, right? And I'm glad that you brought that up. So what I did is I went ahead and started tying everything into the property that you're purchasing right now so that you can see some of the common questions that I get. And I can kind of give you a bird's eye view, and you can tell me which ones to stop at and go into it. Now, buyer due diligence is generally best done, and we have been doing a lot of that, by the way. I know that you've been driving by the property like a rock star before we even see it.
My own due diligence.
Your own reconnaissance,
My own reconnaissance.
which is a perfect kind to do, by the way. So kudos. Pound it.
Oh, yeah.
You want a pound? I don't want you to feel left out. So,
Just, doing a little drive around, scoping it out, make sure we like the neighborhood, making sure it's somewhere that we would want to live. Because again, we didn't know that this neighborhood existed, so I wanted to.
I actually thought that was fun because how many times do you drive past it?
Maybe like 6 times. Once in the morning, once in the evening, because you want to see what it's like at different times. And if there's like a crazy, I don't know, like a crazy lawnmower that's going off, and I don't know, we want to see if there's any crazy thing going on.
So that brings us to the question of the day. The question of the day is, what is the most important part about home buyer due diligence to you? Is it option A, the home inspection, option B, checking on those crime levels, or option C, everything? Tell us your thoughts in the comments. All right, let's hop back to it with the Hernandez family. You want to see the neighborhood at different hours and see if there's a party animal and everything else, right? So speaking of that, what I did is I pulled open some of the publicly available information, so much so that you'll be like, wow, that's really public. So this is where the house is located. So obviously we're on the cul-de-sac. What I was going into next was the original sketch that the appraiser made, just to kind of give an idea of the 2 floors where you have your downstairs and your upstairs. It's just rough square footage for computational purposes to identify the square foot of the property is valid, okay? This gives each of them here. And then I get asked a lot about, well, is this home in a flood zone? So I went ahead and pulled that information. And you'll see that the parcel is not located in what's called a 100-year floodplain. So this is important because now you know that you don't need to get insurance through FEMA for flooding.
FEMA?
Yeah, that's where you would need to get flood insurance if we needed it. Now, crime. How many times in our conversation from the first call did you say to me, Andrew, I'd really like to get a beautiful home for my family. It's our first home, and I want to be in a safe area that's a good area, and what's the best area of Las Vegas that I can buy? And remember, I shared with you, it's kind of an interesting question because we have the thing that I call a skittle map, a crime map, and I would need to send you that information. Well, that's what you're seeing over here. And the reason that we can't answer that question as a trusted real estate advisor is it would fall underneath a federal offense called steering if we did that. Meaning that if I said something was right for you, it might be right for you because I think it's right. But what happens if it's not right because it's you and it's not me?
Right.
Everything's subjective. So the best way to do that, your due diligence on this, is to check out that skittle map, see what's going on, And right here at the dot is where the subject property is. All of this stuff around here are all those Skittles. So if we dial into your specific community here, it could have been somebody playing their music too loud, cop, said, hey, knock it off, and it got reported because this is tied in directly to the police department. Okay?
Nice.
Then you can have even a more interesting view. Now this is a paid version, not to Andrew Finney, but to Neighborhood Scout. Neighborhood Scout gives you the opportunity to unlock all these different reports right here in this identified area, which belongs to, or where your home is residing within that little district, if you will.
Right.
So it'll give you a highly informational overview, real estate pricing and trending, what's going on in the area, the demographics. It'll give you their version of the crime report, school reports, and forecast and trends for the area. Okay. So it shows you kind of like what's going on in here. There's 640 vital statistics with 37 condition alerts. So when you see like real estate alerts, what could be an alert for real estate? Home went on the market.
2 houses. All right. Yeah. 2 houses went on the market. One
Sold.
sold.
There you go. It's that easy. And then you look underneath all these different alerts here. Okay, demographics, they're saying 0 alerts, whatever they're grading there. Crime 0 alerts, whatever they're grading there, which actually goes well with what we just saw there. And then schools and trends of forecast, okay? Now, Nicole,
Yes.
you're a mama bear, yes?
Yes.
And you happen to have 2 young cubs,
Yes.
right?
Right.
Well, actually, the Girl Scouts, but I mean,
Yeah.
Cub Scouts, Girl Scouts, hang on. What would we call them, by the way, as Girl Scouts at their level? Brownie?
Alana is a cadet and Ariana is a daisy.
Okay, awesome. So with that, would you want to make sure that you were in a safe area for them whenever it comes to like sex offender registries and stuff like that?
100%.
So there's actually information available, right? Let me show you what I'm talking about. So you have the National Sex Offender Public website, okay? This shows you anybody that they're saying in and around the area with these little bubbles. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean there was like a sexual crime committed, even though it's a sex offender registry. It could be lewd or indecent exposure. It could be so many different things. Doesn't necessarily constitute assault. On this site, it's pretty cool because you can actually see the pictures of the people being reported, any of their names and aliases, the address, right? This is all public information. You click on them. So this tells you what's going on, gives you the name, the picture, the date of the picture, gender, race, ethnicity, year of birth, height, weight, all that fun breakdown. So if you want to go into that, it actually give you vehicle information, scars, tattoos, marks, other information. I mean, it's a huge amount.
Interesting.
And this is a site being provided courtesy of the U.S. government, essentially, right?
Yeah.
See how it says mvsexoffenders.gov? .gov is government.
Yeah.
So that's for public information to help you make sense of what's going on in an area, okay? So then you have this opportunity, which is kind of cool. Now this is called familywatchdog.us. And in what it is, it shows you the home. And remember that guy you were asking me about a moment ago? Same bubble, but it shows a green bubble. So it kind of gives you a highlight of what's going on from default icons to offense against a child to sexual battery, rape, and other offenses, okay? Over here, it just says offense other offender's home. It doesn't tell us exactly was it a rape or anything. So this is probably a good sign for a mama bear, right? Some people find the other one better than the other. It just depends on which one's easiest for you to understand and the one that you enjoy using the best, okay?
Right.
Public schools. Now, I know that you know everything about schools. You guys are heavily involved with the young ladies, and to say the least, right? So this shows you all your school ratings. I know that was one of the considerations was, I believe you said you want to get them into like Bishop Gorman when they get older, eventually. So you can see all this grades for the school being reported by greatschools.org. Hey, I just want to jump in real quick. We're coming up on some really high detail information. We're going to dive really deep with some pro tips about things and tools that you can use no matter where you are in the country for your buyer due diligence. Before we do that, I just wanted to say thank you for watching. I hope you're enjoying a great time. And if you're getting value out of this video, could you do me a big favor, please? Would you go ahead and smash that thumbs up and hit subscribe now? All right, now let's get ready to dive deep into those buyer due diligence details. This is something that I've shared on so many different videos. And because you found me on YouTube, I'm going to show it to you too, and I show it to anybody that asks me about it or at least volunteer the information, right? This is the building permits for the exact property that you're purchasing right now throughout what was reported. In this case, it's not the city of Las Vegas. It's Clark County's jurisdiction for this property, okay? So there is two in Las Vegas, Nevada. You got the city and you got the county. In this case, it was under the county, and you can go all the way back to like 1995 when the property was first constructed. And it gave you opportunity to see what it was. It's a building permit. Then you see that it was doing all these applications on the exact same date through the builder. Then you see there was a plumbing permit that was pulled so they could install the plumbing, electric, post-construction certification to make sure everything was good to go, mechanical permit, another electrical permit, this time for a pool and spa later that year. Okay, so we know that pool was built in 1995. And then plans that were submitted back in 1996, and another plumbing permit that was done in 2003. Helpful?
Yeah.
And you can click view, and sometimes it actually lets you view it. City of Las Vegas is really, really good for being able to view records, but Clark County is still working on it. But it is a great source of information to find different things. Now, when we go through the closing process as part of your buyer due diligence, what the title company is going to do, remember Jennifer Clifton, Katie Henry, and Cassandra Cardona in this case, right? One of their tasks that they're going to get done for us pretty promptly, generally between 3 and 5 days of getting into the closing process, is called a preliminary title report. Now, a lot of people wonder, hey, does this property have like liens, judgments, encumbrances, easements against the property, right? Well, we can also find anything that's been reported to Clark County right here in the Clark Recorder's Office. And this works anywhere in the United States. If you go to like a specific area's recorder's office, you're going to see this for any property. It's just that we're dialed in obviously in Las Vegas here. So this lets us know that your house was actually built by party. And this is back when? August of 1995. Okay? So then this was your first owner. This was who handled the mortgage at the time. So if we saw any liens right here, I would be watching this. And this is something that, in addition to doing the comparative market analysis before we submit the offer, I was already investigating. Just to try to get a mind's eye of what we're looking at for the closing process and to protect your best interest, right? So I can let you know what's going on. So this will show every reconveyance, every time the property is sold, who has the mortgage, and the date that it was taking place, right? So we go all the way down, all the way down, all the way down to the current owner. We know that the current owner, as of July 17th of 2019, Las Vegas Valley Water District had a lien. So we know that that's something that we need to talk to Jennifer and Katie about to ensure that gets resolved. And do you as a buyer pay it, or does the seller pay it?
Seller.
In this case, because we did not have that as part of our negotiations, right?
Right.
So that's something that would have to be satisfied to give you free and clear title to the property. Make sense?
Yes.
Now, am I nerding out too much?
No.
All transit metrics, this is another cool one. I've made all of these links actually available one way or another throughout the YouTube channel. And it's just very helpful stuff. That's how I find all this stuff, is just like, you know, what can I find to give to people to help them make a good decision. In this case, what All Transit does is it's dialing back into that area again, and it gives it a performance score about what kind of transit's available in the area. Are you going to be using your own vehicle? Is there a train? Is there a subway? Is there a bus? What kind of transit systems are available? Okay. If you scroll down, it tells you right here, on average, the households have 1,529 transit trips per week within a half-mile radius. That means a lot of people are shopping in and around the area, which makes sense because in Las Vegas we're right here, and you got that little shopping center right there to the next on the next major intersection. You got the grocery store right up there. So if you start looking by a mileage radius, you're well contained. So then 3 transit routes within a half-mile, those would be the bus routes since we don't have a subway or train system here in Vegas yet. And then this is saying that there's 208,386 jobs accessible within 30 minutes, which would take us all the way into the Strip, further out, all the way to the southwest, all the way to the northwest. And then there's only 5% of people that live in this area that use public transport. Over here, walk score, if you want to walk around, this gives you your walkability score. If you want to get into like your demographics of who's living around you, median income, male, female, breakdown, all that fun stuff, it's available on city data.
Cool.
Okay. So that hits a lot of nails on the head with buyer due diligence. Some of these links you had before, some of these links, is one of those things that in case it came up in your mind's eye, I wanted to go ahead and address. The goal of buyer due diligence is to scratch all the itches that you may have and investigate anything that you want to. Within the buyer due diligence period, that is our right of rescission as a home buyer to make sure that if something was like completely a no-go, right? Let's say that for some reason you're on an exact active earthquake fault zone, or maybe you were next to like Old Faithful or something in Yellowstone, right? It's kind of a problem if you're building a house next to that. And we found that out and you said, hey, you know what? I think I jumped the gun on this. Then we could back out, get your earnest money deposit back and go find a different property. Now, ideally with the way that we've done everything in this process from our game plan meeting to now, has been doing all the due diligence up front so we don't regret our decision, that we're making a well-informed decision every step of the way.
Okay.
That's best practice, and you guys have been doing that, so double pound, right? You like that?
Yes.
You guys have done perfect on that. Okay, so I just wanted to jump in real quick and share a pro tip with you. When you're looking at your buyer due diligence, it's best practice to start early and actually before viewing the property if possible. Now you might be wondering, Andrew, how can I be performing buyer due diligence and knocking everything out before making an offer? Pretty easy, because part of your buyer due diligence is assessing the crime levels in the area, your neighborhood, driving through it, make sure that it's comfortable to you. Also checking in on like the different school ratings in the area where your shopping is. All of this comprises what's known as buyer due diligence, in addition to the home inspection and some of the bigger things that come to most of our mind when we think of buyer due diligence. All the same, starting early and actually before viewing a property, or at least jumping into it as quickly as possible, is a massive pro tip. If you drive that community during the morning and at noon and at night and on the weekend if you have a chance, you're really going to gain a huge insight and perspective onto how people in that community live, and you'll know if it's the right neighborhood for you. So other than that, that's going to kick off the buyer due diligence side of it. The question I'd have for you right now is, do you have any other questions or any other itches needing a scratch?
No, I think we're well informed and we have everything that we need. I think we're confident and good.
Definitely, I think we're good with everything like that we have as far as like what's around us, like dangers, crime, things like that. But I feel like the major part of the buyer due diligence is that inspection and to get it like done in a timely manner type stuff.
The
like,
home
so
inspection?
The home inspection, so we can, get, really find out the major, like what you said, meat and potatoes of the house, so we can, get that done, because there's like 12 days of a
Buyer due
due
diligence?
diligence period.
So that brings up on the next point actually. Do you know a home inspector that you would like me to call, or do you want me to contact one that I know? It's completely your call here.
I think we're comfortable with going someone that you
Okay.
know.
Oh yeah,
And
for sure.
Okay, so that would probably be Jeff and Tori Waldo with Inspector Waldo Home Services.
Okay.
I've worked with them a lot. They're going to put together an extremely comprehensive report and take pictures of anything that catches their eye as a home inspector. Now, next step would be, do you want to attend said home inspection, or do you wish to just, get the report?
100% 1
be there?
10, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be there then.
We shall be there.
We'll make sure that we get educated.
I want to get it.
Nice.
Also in this process, this is just the real estate side.
Right.
Also in the same time frame here, we're going to get a copy of that HOA resale package that we mentioned ago. So the listing agent did tell me that they've already ordered it, so we should have it sometime in the next week or two, and then we can review that together as well. But the loan officer, Bill Marion with New American Funding, is also going to be calling you into the office to review your official loan estimate with you, dialed into the numbers on this specific property that you're purchasing. Okay. So that would be another great opportunity to ask any of the financial questions that you might have. Okay.
Got it.
And then we'll also, as I mentioned a moment ago, be getting a copy of that preliminary title report. So there's a lot of things coming down range, but I know you got this, right?
Yes.
Now, did you know this going into this process, that buying a house was like this uber detailed?
Not
No.
at the beginning, no.
So I got to know, because sometimes I wonder if I overshare, right? But it's like the biggest purchase that most of us are ever going to make.
Right.
So I figure if we're going to do this, we might as well get it right and give you all the information. If you tell me I'm coming on too strong with information, then I just pull back and wait until you tell me what you want.
We want it all.
You want it all,
Give it
right?
all.
So then I'll just email you all those links for you to have.
Okay.
Okay, and then your friends and family and stuff like that might enjoy knowing that too.
Nice.
But what I'm dying to know is, has it felt like it's too much information?
No, it feels like it's all needed. It's necessary, and it helps
Throughout the
understand
process,
the process.
it makes you feel good about
Yeah.
what you're getting yourself into and like why. Okay, does that make sense? Like that's kind of how I feel like I've been going through this whole process. It's like okay.
And
Makes
you
sense,
feel
you know?
protected. There's there's a lot of steps, and it's for a reason. So yeah, it feels good knowing that we're doing what we need to be safe and confident that it's the right place.
Now, with the friends that you know or the family members that you know that have purchased a home, did they ever share this kind of information with you?
No.
Really?
Never.
No.
Goodness.
Not even like if you're talking like 100%. Not even like maybe 1%.
Well, we need to get the information out there, bud, so that people know anywhere they are in the United States. These are things that are publicly available. It's just a matter of having the right agent, trusted real estate advisor that is going to hook you up with all the info, right?
For sure.
It's a well-informed decision. It's important.
Very important.
So, lastly, I suppose, do you have any questions?
No, doing good. Ready for the next step. Ready to keep going. Don't stay with the momentum.
Stay with the momentum?
Yeah.
Well, I felt like I momentized the momentum. I was like, conversation's been like, boom, this is what we're doing, this is the process, but
right.
I don't want to.
Now we're
I
ready.
hate talking too much.
We're with the
is what I'm saying.
process.
No, we're good.
We're with the process. What's
Yeah.
next? What's next? What's next? Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
So speaking of what's next, I'm going to go ahead and reach out to Jeff and Tori Waldo at Inspector Waldo Home Services and get that ordered for you.
Oh, where's Waldo?
I know, right? I said the same thing. I was
say
like,
it.
and when you see him, you're like, hey, is that like the first time you heard that?
Yeah, exactly.
It's probably like
It's
this.
like,
Yo, Adrian.
exactly. Never heard that one. First time. That's the first time ever in life.
Right? Oh my God, thank you. So I'll go ahead and lock that on. I'm just jotting my note here. And then the resale package, I'll let you know when it's in.
Okay.
Other considerations, if there's any other information that you would like, just let me know. I know that I'm going to send these over to you once we adjourn.
Okay.
And if anything else comes to mind, yeah, I know, right? Law and order. Boom, boom, adjourn. Does that little jingle go through your head whenever someone says the word adjourn? Yeah. Okay, so I thought I would jump in right here because I know this is a lot of information. Now, I've made every one of the links available in the show more description below so that you can check them out. You can add them to your home buyer due diligence checklist and make sure that you have it all ready to go. Now, going back to what I was sharing with you earlier about jumping on it as quickly as possible, now that you have these links, you can do just that. But sometimes I wonder, is this like an info overload? Is it like too much, too quick, too fast? And that's where I get concerned sometimes as a trusted real estate advisor. Tell me what you think in the comments below whenever getting this amount of information. Is it best to give it all at once, or how would you prefer to receive the information, and how valuable is this information to you at the end of the day? I always want to make sure that the families that I represent are fully knowledgeable, well informed, so that they can make a smart decision that's right for them. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Now let's get back to it. So there's so much going on, but I want you to know that I've got your back, and I'm going to keep you well informed every step of the way. Anytime you have a question, please reach out, Facebook message, I don't care.
Okay.
Text, whatever it's clever for you, and we'll make it happen.
Sounds good.
But that's where we are.
Alrighty.
And without further ado,
Let's do it.
we're ready to adjourn. So now that you've seen Adrian and Nacole go through essentially a lot of due diligence at one time, it can sometimes feel overwhelming, and that's why I was asking them, how are they feeling? A lot of people sometimes feel like it's a lot of information. Other people really, really want it. At the same time, it's important not to commit analysis paralysis here, but it is important to take everything at your pace, because this is about you and asking as many questions as you want of either your loan officer, your real estate agent, and even the title company, to make sure that you're making a well-informed decision. Doing so will keep you going smoothly through the closing process all comfortable and well informed every step of the way. And that's the goal of all of us trusted real estate advisors. So I hope that you learned a lot from this, and just remember, take your buyer due diligence serious and make sure that you're doing your homework. The more of it that you can do up front by scouting the area, the neighborhoods that appeal to you, the easier it is to stay focused in the actual closing process when you start getting all of the information from the seller disclosures to HOA information if you're buying a home within an HOA. It's important to remember that you're buying a home and to have fun. It's a time of excitement. Working with your trusted real estate advisor, you will know what's going on every step of the way. Have fun and enjoy the ride. So what's the first step that we're doing?
Home inspection?
No. Earn some money deposit.
Oh, yes.
And when you get those wiring instructions, Miss Nicole,
Yes.
what are you doing?
Calling to verify.
And
let them speak and verify. Woo!
A++.
Sweet.
Plus.
No cash.
No cash?
Can't send cash for the earnings bonus deposit.
You know, that brings up a good point. It's one of those things. Hold up. Are we gonna be dancing? I feel like we're gonna be dancing. How do we do this?
Yeah, exactly like that.
You gotta teach me some rhythm, I'm telling you. Anyways, I'll get out of your hair here. Thank you for coming in. Tell the ladies I said hello.
Oh, for sure.
Thank you. Tell the ladies.
Okay, great.
I
I locked it. You know, I lock it behind us
All right.
for security.
Yeah, she forgot how to use.
There we go. Thank you.
Have a good night.
See you guys later.
Adrian and Nacole are rock stars. They're doing super good and they're off to a great start. We have a long journey in front of us. So next up, in the next day or two, we're going to get the seller's real property disclosures, review that, get that home inspection ordered, and start making sure that we get all of our ducks in a row and ready to go. I know they got this, and it's a long journey ahead. They're up for the challenge, and let's get going.
Coming up next time, it's back to New American Funding for a loan estimate.
Loan estimate's really simple stuff.
Bill Marin will be reviewing the Hernandez family's options.
Closing costs. What are closing costs? How much should they be?
He'll be providing you with lots of great information on this part of the process.
These are smart moves, my friend.
And he'll be helping Adrian and Nacole order their home appraisal. It's a fun and exciting time ahead.
Were you really?
I'm just kidding.
Well, maybe not for everyone.